General Sibiya, we are proceeding to the last speaker is Honorable Cameron.
Thank you, Chair. I feel like one of those people that need to get everyone up and stretch and turn around and just to make sure everyone is awake. General, firstly, thank you for putting up with us today. It's been a very, very long day, so I'm going to go very, not fast, but I'm going to ask the questions very directly. So if some of them come across quite direct, don't necessarily take it as a point of disrespect. They are going to be direct questions. Some of them I just started writing in the one of the last 2 or 3 people that questioned you. You referred to General Moodley, you referred to General Khan, you referred to General Teo as well. And I want to start my questions with a statement that says you're judged by the company you keep. Before I ask questions regarding those associations, what I want to ask you is, and it can be a very short answer, is, General, isn't it a dangerous precedent when you advise juniors, and when I say juniors, major generals, I'm not talking about, in junior ranks, of the very division that you used to be or have control over. Before the new structure was approved, you were in charge of the Divisional Commissioner of Crime Intelligence. Isn't it setting a dangerous precedent to then advise the juniors of the current Divisional Commissioner on whether they should or shouldn't go to court?
I was not advising the junior members, I was advising the divisional commissioners and say, this is a matter that you can deal with. I don't think it's advisable to go to court. But
you said General, you said that you advised, you told, I think, General Khan or General Moodley to not go to court.
No, I was telling General Khumalo. It was General Khan went to court. And then I said, don't go to court because you may lose. You're going to lose.
But then who did you say shouldn't do the expeditious process?
I was telling General Khumalo.
To not do expeditious?
To not do the expeditious.
Then General Khan rushed to court.
Then he did. He proceeded without listening to him.
But you told General Khan, I think you almost said it again now, you told General Khan not to go to court.
Chair, can I be assisted here?
Yeah.
I said, General Khan, General Khumalo was charging General Khan, and he was using the expeditious approach in a matter of 2021. It's a very long time matter outstanding, and he's been at work working. So in other words, when you have to charge him, you have to follow the normal disciplinary process, not go expeditious. And then he didn't listen. He charged him using the regulation of expeditious. And then General Khan, in order to defend himself, he ran to court.
And he succeeded.
Yes, and he succeeded. That is what I was saying.
Okay, General, I'm sorry if I misunderstood earlier, but you, and I'm going to labor the point. Earlier you said that General Khumalo was going to do expeditious against General Khan, correct?
Yes.
You told General Khumalo why would he do expeditious, correct?
Yes.
Just now when I asked you at first, you said General Khan shouldn't go to court, right?
Never said General Khan shouldn't go to court.
No, it's not what he said.
But Chair, apologies, Chair, but then there was a problem with previous questions because that's exactly what was quoted earlier.
Yeah, what he said was that he advised that when the matter of General Khan went to court, General Khan succeeded in his court litigation. And then General, you said it's Moody, went to court and he lost.
Okay. Did you tell General Moodley not to go to court?
No.
General, I think we're in different rooms here because this differs directly. I see the members nodding as well. I'll go back to it. I'll come back to it later. Chair, there's something wrong here. Moodley was instructed to report to the inspectorate. I followed up on this in Parliament several times. General, when General Moodley was reporting to you still, he was instructed by yourself to go to inspectorate and he refused. The reason I'm asking this tonight is because ground level members, if they don't submit leave correctly or they make a mistake, very, very often, if it's not expeditious, they even get pay cuts. But they face severe punishment, sometimes, in my opinion, overkill punishment. General Moodley was away from work. Tonight, you're defending him here when you spoke earlier, and you can differ from me, but he was away from work for 2 years. What did you do to remedy that?
Remember that General Moodley was away because he was removed from his position. And as he was removed from his position, he was being sent to inspectorate. Now, this is the member of crime intelligence who grew up in crime intelligence. You are taking him out of crime intelligence, you're saying he must go to the inspectorate. And he's saying to you, myself and General Jacobs, we don't have a relationship at all. And I can tell you, it won't work. Then the National Commission say, all right, let's see where we can place him. Choose three stations, clusters where he can be transferred. They gave him 3 where he must choose. He chose Gauteng. Now he feels that he then asks, okay, when must I report and where? But this is after quite some time he was on sick leave, quite some time. Now, in my case, I say he then received a letter that says you either come to work or you are fired. He got fired, and then he went to court to challenge the expulsion. So he went to court, and the court ruled in his favor. Now, in my case, I wasn't defending anybody here. What I was saying is that there's something called interpersonal relations. What needs to happen is that you must be able to build a team in such a way that you work with everybody that you work with. That you work with people, with staff that supports you. So it wasn't like I'm supporting General Moodley.
Thank you, General. General, and I want to give context to it. The reason I'm asking those questions is because you said you gave vague answers about there being factions. Now, the whole conspiracy with this entire conflict was that General Moodley, Khan, and to a certain extent General Teo were part of one of the factions. Now, to be very honest with you, and this is a comment, not a question, Chair, in the Chair's absence, is that I find it embarrassing that it sounds like a Spanish telenova, a soapy.
Personally, I remember he was not completely, he was sick, but he would show up sometimes bringing the sick note. And then I would talk to him and say, but why don't you come report? Even if you are to come and report here in my office, come to report in my office and say, no, I'll speak to my doctor. But I'll then say, okay, let me also speak to the National Commissioner so that the National Commissioner can agree with me that you're not going to go to the college, to General Jacobs. You can come report here with the hope that I was going to give him projects such as like extortion rackets, your cash in transit, your kidnapping, so that he can run the operations on those. And then when I speak to the National Commissioner said, no, you can't keep him in your office because you don't have a post in your office. Then what I was trying to do to assist also was not approved by the National Commissioner. Now, in my case, it was now between him and the Divisional Commissioner.
General, again, you need to, and again, I say this very directly, but and respectfully, you need to decide whether you're going to be the peacemaker or you're going to be the DNC. You can't allow for crime intelligence that currently in shambles the way that it is, for someone to ad infinitum stay away from work, and when they pop in, they can. The reason I ask this is because General Moodley, amongst others, and you'll see how the names fit in when I continue with the questions, even flew up to head office to visit you. During my time following up through Parliament and asking questions, etc., it was very clear as we received information that he had visited Pretoria several times. And I find it interesting that you now say he won his court case when he's currently still dismissed. I know he's taking it on appeal, but he's currently still dismissed. And this leads me to the following question. You then again create the impression about General Thiel. Now, General Thiel was previously investigated with allegations of kidnapping, assault, GBH, attempted murder, and defeating the ends of justice. He's currently on his way to trial for defeating the ends of justice. And that's why I started with a quote of saying that you are judged by the company you keep. Because it's ironic to me at the moment, with all of the statements that we've heard today, that those names are the ones that you choose to show some kind of ill treatment, and that it creates the impression of further factionalism. General, I want to move just regards to ranks and promotions, and I want to zoom in again on crime intelligence, and I want to ask you whether you questioned it or had any reservations about it. You mentioned, I think yesterday, a driver that was overnight promoted to captain in KZN. I think it was to captain. Again, when I look at General Moodley and General Khan, both of them were promoted not too long ago, directly from Lieutenant Colonel to Major General. And that in itself is a significant jump in ranks. We were talking about General Konazi earlier. I've got my own questions about the way that he was promoted, and we can debate that. But skipping 2 or 3 ranks at any given time is significant. Did you have questions about that?
I don't have knowledge of that because I was not there.
Thank you, General. General, I want to move to the issue of Vusimusi Cat Matlala. When you had organized crime as a commander there, or let's park that, you were a commander of organized crime. You told us in this house that you had no recollection of Cat Matlala's criminal background, correct?
Yes.
General, how is it possible that you led organized crime, even now as DNC detection, crime detection, and to a certain extent crime intelligence as well? Matlala has a 25-year-old record, criminal record, of significant offenses. I mean, a lot of them were in the media. I went and drew them up today, from cash in transit heist, illicit firearms, and scores of those cases were withdrawn. Did you do anything from your side to do any kind of due diligence regarding Mr. Matlala?
Chair, I think the people who were supposed to do due diligence on Mr. Matlala, the people who actually gave him a tender. At the time he applied, I think they interviewed them, and these are the people who must check on them and then get their CVs and everything. But the fact that he was given a tender, to me, he appeared to be a normal businessman who is a stockholder because he was actually operating from the College of the Police.
So, General, you're saying that he managed to build this so-called organized crime network, and while you're heading up organized crime and you're heading up later on detective services, you didn't know the background of Cat Matlala, one of the notorious, seemingly, or let's call him one of the highest ranking criminals in South Africa. You didn't know anything about him.
No, I didn't know anything about it. And to be quite honest, Chair, it doesn't mean that when you are the component head, organized crime, which means you must know everybody who is a criminal. You will have, in the provinces, you will have a provincial head of organized crime. And then in Gauteng, there's also people who will know about him. But in my case, quite honestly speaking, I didn't know him.
General, I want to put it to you that is the reason why we are seeing the levels of organized crime in this country, because I can tell you now that it should have raised significant red flags. And when he received that tender, not even talking about General Fani, I mean, General Fani should have his entire own inquiry. We should spend an entire week just with him about procurement, because it seems to me, from what I hear from the Auditor General, the police committee are going to have a field day regarding that. But just regarding the red flags with you, is that I have a question about the capacity of organized crime in the South African Police Service if you weren't able to identify that person. To say you didn't know the different or all the criminals in the country, it's not an accurate statement, because there's a difference between Vusi Musi Kat Matlala and a sidewalk Scully in Tembisa. Big difference. General, I want to move to the matter regarding, or furthermore, Kat Matlala. With regards to the reports that were submitted to your office by the Hawks, or IDAC for that matter, in 2024-25, about the criminal probes in terms of Matlala, was it never flagged with you? Did the Hawks or IDAC never come and speak to you about this whole Matlala crisis?
Not at all.
Chair, I think that's something we can ask them about then as well, because there's a serious, very serious oversight lab with internal capacity. General, furthermore, the matter of Kat Matlala and withdrawn cases. On what I just told you, several criminal cases were opened against Matlala over the years, and almost every one of those cases was withdrawn or quietly struck off the roll. Did you ever question why that kept happening?
Because that subject never came up. I didn't know that this man is actually a habitual criminal, or has got so many cases withdrawn against him. It never actually happened. It's unfortunate, Chair, because at this point in time, I'm expected, or I'm being asked questions whether didn't you know about this man? Didn't you know that he's got criminal record? But I don't think it is fair that I'm expected to, when I meet somebody, I must call someone and say, please conduct an investigation on this, run tests on this individual. I'll end up doing it with everybody.
Not at all. Kat Matlala, Brown Mkhotsi, there were several names mentioned in the last 2 days of people that have significant influence. So you can't compare them to sidewalk Scullies. There's a big difference. And if you're heading organized crime or division crime detection, then surely you should have some kind of a dashboard or a list of who your top dogs are, who the whether it's the real, what do we call them, the big five or the fake big five. I don't know who to believe anymore, it seems, but we must have some kind of a list where this is indicated. If a stakeholder gets 360 million rands worth of tender in South African Police Service, then it is the entire Saps management, and it includes you and General Masemola. There needs to be serious questions with regards to due diligence. General, I want to refresh your memory on the cases of Mr. Kat Matlala. 2018, 11-note Porsche, attempted murder, withdrawn. 2016, Santon, possession of a firearm without a license and impersonation of a police officer, withdrawn. Silverton, 2015, carjacking and possession of stolen goods, withdrawn. Alberton, house robbery, withdrawn. Burglary, residential premises, withdrawn. Possession of housebreaking equipment, withdrawn. Common assault, cash in transit heist, not guilty, acquitted. Brooklyn, theft out of a motor vehicle, withdrawn. And so the list goes on. There are many, many more. What I'm saying to you, General, it's physically impossible that he could have slipped with the system. Someone helped him. And if it wasn't in your office, then it was in the office of General Fani. But there was significant help to Kat Matlala. General, you've repeatedly blamed crime intelligence for operational failures, but I want to ask you whether you ever issued any kind of a formal directive to crime intelligence to target Kat Matlala or Brown Mkhotsi over the past 12 months.
To start with, Chair, I don't think it is fair that all the records that the honorable member was reading here. I was not in the police. And the chair is saying, I wonder if it was not in your office or Fani, General Fani. It's really unfortunate and it's not fair at all because we are not accountable and responsible for people that are criminals. And if that is the case, why did the police give him a tender? I was not there. I don't know. So that statement really, I don't accept it, Chair. And then as to whether I gave any order or any instruction to crime intelligence to investigate Cat Matlala, crime intelligence has got the counterintelligence. They do their work, they know their work, and if they do it. They don't have to get any instruction from me. I didn't know about Cat Matlala's involvement in crime.
So even when you're the DNC, crime intelligence, before the new structure was implemented, you didn't give any form of instruction?
That's worse. When I'm the DNC, I'm not that operational. I'm more now at strategic level. I'm throughout the country running with the National Commissioner and the ministers in all strategic issues and attending in Bizos and all other areas where I'm sent by the National Commissioner.
So is the closing down of the PKTT purely a strategic issue?
The closing down of the PKTT, remember, it's an official instruction that came from the minister through the National Commissioner. So it is not a criminal thing, a side issue that happened somewhere in a corner, unknown. It is an open official thing that was happening.
I'm not saying anything unknown, General. I'm asking whether you gave any instruction to crime intelligence. You explained that there's a false narrative that was being driven against you in the media. Did you ever task counterintelligence specifically to investigate such, especially with regards to the internal communication? You'd remember on the very famous 5th of March meeting, we discussed smear campaigns against people in the South African Police Service.
But I think, Chair, crime intelligence head, the divisional commissioner, reported to me. But the officials under the divisional commissioner, crime intelligence, were not being tasked by me. I could not call a counter and say, come here, Mr. The national commissioner can do that. But in my case, there was no relationship with crime intelligence. There was no relationship with even the head of crime intelligence.
No relationship?
Yes.
General, you speak of unfair, but you know what's unfair? That we're sitting here at 11:30 on a Tuesday night about a group of adult men and women that can't get along in the police. General, did you ever demand any form of disciplinary action for those who allegedly stalled or didn't investigate? But you now said there was no investigation with regards to the smear campaign, so let's rather just skip that. General, I want to go to the last few questions. I want to ask with regards to the minister that withdrew the advertisement for the position of the national head of the DPCI, indicating that the process will be extended to find the right person for the post. As someone who publicly expressed, this is you, interest in the position and has long served within the South African Police Service leadership, how did this decision and the implied suggestion that the right person had not yet been found make you feel, both personally and professionally? Do you believe that the withdrawal reflects a lack of confidence in you and the current pool of senior SAPS leadership, or do you see it as part of the broader political or institutional contestation over the control of the Hawks?
I think that's a question that can be responded to by the minister.
No, General, I'm asking what is your opinion, not the minister's opinion. He'll have his day.
I don't have an opinion on that.
So it doesn't bother you that they said they're waiting for the right candidate?
As far as I'm concerned, I'm one of the applicants and I didn't have really, I have expectations to be shortlisted. And if I was not shortlisted or maybe it was withdrawn, it means the right candidates did not succeed or were not really there to be considered. So you win some, you lose some. If you are not part or you are not in their plans, And fortunately, that is what it is.
Thank you, General. General, would you say, let me ask you first, yes or no, was it unconstitutional or unlawful for the minister to order the closing of the PKTT?
Personally, I don't see anything unlawful about it.
So it's constitutional. You think it's constitutional?
Yes.
See, I was planning to ask you because from what I could find, it's not constitutional. He can't give an operational structure. And I actually wanted to ask you whether you would jump off the roof of this house had the minister asked you that. Because everyone keeps telling me that they follow orders when it suits them in SAPS. But when it comes to the ground level issues and the frustrations that we keep on asking questions about, whether it's from the committee or elsewhere in Parliament, things are stalled and it's extremely frustrating. Chair, I want to close by maybe just saying that the trust relationship for effective policing is essential, especially in the management of SAPS and I guess all the accounting bodies around it, Parliament too. But by the actions that we've witnessed today and even over the last few weeks, with many different stories and testimonies, I really want to say that the public's confidence in SAPS, I think, has never been undermined on the level that it has now. And I think, Chair, we've got a huge responsibility from our side as Parliament, broadly speaking, to try and assist in restoring that integrity and credibility of SAPS. General, I want to end off by saying you're judged by the company you keep. These meetings and breakfasts with Brown Mokgotsi, in the calls, Kat Matlala, etc. There's an Afrikaans saying that says, meng jou met die semels, dan vreet die varke jou op. Die varke gaan vir jou opvreet. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
Nothing. Sure, I would do honestly.